بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله وصحبه حق قدره ومقداره العظيم والحمد لله. So we're on to the section now. We're on page 38 of the book, and we're looking at the Muhammadu Da'i fil Haya. What is the concern of the caller to God? What should he be concerned with in his life? So he says, وَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُ وَنَفَعَنَ بِهِ مَنْ صَدَّقَ بِرِسَالَةٍ خَدَمَهَا. The one who has firm belief, the one who has conviction or belief in the risala, in the message, he serves it. وَمَنْ صَدَّقَ بِرِسَالَةٍ تَحَمَّلَ مِنْ أَجْلِهَا. And the one who has firm belief in this risala, in this message, he will undergo, he will bear difficulties, he will bear pain in order to for its sake. So those people who have firm belief in the risala, who have firm belief in the message of the Quran and the message that the Prophet ﷺ came with, those people who have this firm belief, they are willing to bear difficulties, pains, troubles in order to convey this message. And this aspect of being able to bear difficulty is what is defined by both the moderns and the ancients, by both modern people now and also the ancient people of the past. This is what they used to define success. How do we attain success? The key characteristic, the key quality is what they call tahammul, or perseverance, or ability to continue on in difficulty. This is the key criterion. Like they talk about this in relation to children, for example. Paul Tuff's bestseller, How Children Succeed, he talks about the number one quality. What's the number one quality for ensuring that children succeed? He says the number one quality is perseverance, persistence, continually going on, like the opposite of laziness. And this quality, if the ones who have this quality, they're actually able to overcome. And they're actually able to overcome, and they're actually able to achieve success in any field. This is the point that we're making here, is any field that somebody goes into, they're going to achieve success through this. Because they have this ability. Then you can learn anything. You can succeed, you can move forward, you can drive forward in anything whatsoever, in any subject or any topic or any art form or any sort of field of life that you desire. This is the key. These people who are of high himma, these people who really have a high desire and a powerful drive, are the ones who are able to be successful in every possible walk of life. Yeah, and this certainty, this himma comes through certainty. Yeah, through being absolutely certain that this is the route to success. People who are certain and they've established within them that this is the way I'm going to be successful, those types of people, who are absolutely certain that success is attained through this, they will have this perseverance and this desire. Yeah. The one who's absolutely certain of this risala, he will expand from his wealth and from his own energies and from his own self for this message. These are the people of success. So these are people who are serving this risala. Yeah, and part of the service, part of serving this Quran and serving this message that the Prophet ﷺ came with, is to surrender to the message, is to take on the message wholesale. And again, this relates back to yaqeen. Yaqeen, certainty, is the foundation of all good. If we desire goodness and we desire any type of character trait that's positive, then we should have certainty. So it's the same with the Quran. If you have certainty within the Quran, then we will surrender to it. We will read it openly and without any preconceptions. What we have at the moment is, if you're going to be honest, when we read the Quran, we try to impose our ideas on the Quran. Yeah, we have a way of looking at the world. We have understandings, and we try to impose those onto the Quran. But it doesn't work like that. You have to come to the Quran openly and with a willingness to surrender and submit to the message. If you come to the Quran like that, then we'll submit and surrender. Whereas if you come to the Quran with our own ideas, it's a different story. So here we're talking about those people who serve the message, yeah, who surrender to it. And that's, I mean, the first thing we need to look at is what is our relationship with the message itself? What's our relationship with the Quran? And what's our relationship with the Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Because like we said, the message and the messenger are intertwined, they're the same. We don't separate. The message and the messenger are the same. Kana khuluqu al-Quran. The character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the Quran. Kana Quran yamshi bayna nas. He was the Quran walking amongst people. So this is the basis first, that we have these two that are intertwined. So now with the Quran, how do we interact? How do you relate with the Quran? So the ulama, they talk about 5 different levels. Well, there's many different levels, but some scholars talk about 5 different levels for engaging with the Quran. 5 ways of engaging. The first way is recitation, to recite the Quran. So we should have a wird, we should have like a regular practice every day of a certain portion of the Quran that we recite. Even if it's just 7 lines, even if it's just 1 page or 2 or 3 pages, less or more than that. Yeah, Imam al-Haddad in his book of Assistance, which is like really a book of sort of introductory spirituality for those people taking the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he recommends 1 juz, you know, like 1 portion, 1/30th of the Quran every day, so that you finish the Quran in a month. As a minimum, he recommends this. And others, they read 3, some they read 4, 4.5, they complete the Quran in a week, some read 10 a day. Yeah, there's different levels of himmah. Some of them will even complete the Quran in a day, yeah, or half the Quran in a day, and so they'll do a khatam every 2 days, yeah, like that. So this is the beginning of it, that we have an attachment to the Quran in terms of just reading the Quran, reading a portion, and also, of course, reading, you know, Surah Yasin, Surah Mulk, Surah Waqiyah, you know, the Ayatul Kursi after our prayers. This type of regular recitation, number 1. Number 2 then is what they call hifz, memorization, that we have some type of regular practice, ideally daily practice, but regular practice of recitation of the Quran, sorry, of memorization of the Quran. So whether that is we memorize that which we have learned before, we revise it, or whether it's new memorization, yeah, that we have these things. So we have recitation, then we have memorization. Number 3, this is where it starts to really move into like we can say the interesting stuff. Yeah, number 3 is understanding. Yeah? Number 3 is understanding. We have to understand the message. We must understand the Quran, and that necessitates Arabic language. But to begin with, it necessitates like a good translation and engaging with trying to understand the Quran. Yeah, we have to understand the Quran, and even like knowing Arabic or a good translation isn't enough. You have to access the commentaries. Yeah, the understanding that different scholars have had, the understanding the early people had and the later people had on verses within the Quran. So we get a deeper, more nuanced understanding of the Quran. We have to look at the Quran through the prism of the different schools of thought, whether they be the legal schools or the schools of theology or any other, the schools of spirituality. How do they engage with the Quran, and how do they understand the Quran? Because the Quran has different levels. You can understand the Quran outwardly. You can understand the Quran inwardly, that's spiritually. You can understand the Quran from a point of view of law. You can understand the Quran from a point of view of societal conduct. How are we in society? Yeah, you can understand the Quran in terms of your personal relationship with Allah, etc. So there's many different levels. So to do that, it does require knowledge of the Quran. The traditional scholars, they will know maybe 15 to 20 sciences of the Quran before they could engage with the book. So that includes language. It also includes that, for example, the history of the Quran, knowing when verses were revealed. It includes the Ulumul Quran, which has many different sciences in it. Yeah, it includes obviously tajweed, recitation of the Quran, and many, many other sciences, so that we have a deeper understanding. So that's number 3, understanding. Number 4 is tadabbur, reflection, deep reflection on the meanings of the Quran. Tadabbur fil Quran. Tadabbur, what does tadabbur mean? Tadabbur means to think about something, to reflect and think until you reach the conclusion, until you reach the ultimate conclusion, the final conclusion. That's tadabbur. So we should be people to tadabbur fil Quran, really reflect, think deeply over the Quran. We read a verse, then we read it again, and we read it again. We repeat the verse, trying to taste the meanings and asking God, Ya Allah, show me the meanings of this. What is this? Ya Allah, I'll open up the meanings of this and try to understand, what does this mean for me? What is the Quran speaking to my soul about? What is it telling me about? This is tadabbur fil Quran. And this is the most powerful way of awakening the heart. It's the most powerful way of attaining certainty. Yeah. There's many, many examples of this throughout our history of people who have attained the highest ranks through the tadabbur fil Quran. Some of them, that's all they were immersed in. Some of our scholars, all they spent their time in was tadabbur fil Quran. That was it. And so that's the 4th level, tadabbur fil Quran. And then the 5th level, and the highest level, is implementation, to act according to the Quran. And number 5, to act, to live your life by the Quran. This is, of course, not only the highest, but also the primary purpose. The Quran was revealed to be acted upon. And this is why Sayyidina Umar said that for the Muslims, if we turn away from the Quran, if we seek guidance, if we seek practical advice anywhere else, Allah will break our back. So if we go somewhere else looking for advice on how to live our lives, if we do this, Allah will break our back. Yeah, and that's what we see now. The back of the Ummah has been broken. Yeah, that we're no longer attaining success because we're going elsewhere for our guidance in whatever sphere of life it might be. When it's in the Quran, and the Quran is a deeply, deeply sophisticated book. Like, I would really recommend people to read as a book. It's been translated into English. It's called The Principles of Quranic Exegesis. The principle, if one of the admin inshallah can write this down in the chat box, the principles of Quranic exegesis, and the principles of Quranic tafsir or commentary by Sayyid Usama al-Azhari, yeah, a modern scholar, quite relatively young scholar, mashallah, from Al-Azhar in Egypt. And it's a phenomenal work. It's been translated into English by Dr. Mustafa al-Badawi, and it really talks about, it's like an introduction to the sciences of the Quran. How do we know the Quran? How do we understand the Quran? And there's some remarkable insights in there. Really, you start to see the genius and the vastness of the Quran. Like he talks about, he says that the Quran is a book of history, and it explains every single human civilization. It gives you an archetype, a model that we can apply to every single human society that has ever existed and will exist and exists. He also says every single form of kufr, every single form of disbelief, every single form of deviance, of arrogance, yeah, of rejection of clear truth, every single type of kufr is mentioned and refuted, completely removed, yeah, in the Quran. It's dealt with and it's refuted, is shown, the falseness of it is shown in the Quran. Every single possible form of kufr. So this is profound. The Quran is deep. Yeah, he says every single ayah in the Quran, there's a hadith that it provides a commentary on it. So the entire Quran can be related back to a hadith, back to statements of the Prophet ﷺ. So we can understand the whole Quran through the prism of the Sunnah. Through the prism of the Sunnah, and many other insights that he makes in that book. It's a remarkable work, and it's a short. The reason the Faqih is mentioning it's quite a short book, and it's an interesting. It really gets you thinking about the depth of this magnificent work and how really it's been neglected. Because he talks in there about now we need modern research. We need people to take the Quran and show how it's refuting modern kufr, modern ideas, whatever they might be, modern ideologies. We should take the Quran and show, he said, nobody has systematically, No one has been through the Quran and shown every single ayah and how it relates to the Sunnah, to the prophetic or the Ahadith, prophetic narrations. People, we need like teams, 20, 30, 40, 50 people to be doing this type of work. We ask Allah for tawfiq to allow us to become scholars who can do this work and to allow the Ummah to flourish again, for scholars to emerge that can revive this risala, that can serve this message in every possible way, shape, or form. This is really what we need. We require a tajdeed, a renewal in our understanding of the Quran, and a renewal in our commitment to the book, in our commitment to the Quran and the magnificence of. This is the book, Introduction to the Principles of Quranic Exegesis by Sheikh Usama Sayyid Mahmoud Al-Azhari. Yeah, so it's a really, really remarkable work. And it has been translated by Dr. Mustafa Al-Badawi, who's of course translated many other works through the Book of Assistance and many other works of spirituality. One of the leading translators. All right, so this is what we're talking about now. We ask Allah, we need openings in the Quran. Like we should be studying the Quran. We should have a portion of our day where we read the Quran and we understand the Quran. Yeah, understanding requires study, requires effort. I mean, look at like some of our teachers, look at the himmah of our teachers. Sheikh Hamid Yusuf, he reads about Surah Al-Ankabut. He hears the Ankabut, the spider mentioned in the Quran. He goes and he reads 9 books on spiders, just to understand this, because he said that the Surah Al-Ankabut, every surah is named after something great. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is Rabbul Alameen, the Lord of the entire creation, has decided to name a chapter in his book, in his special, unique, magnificent, majestic, tremendous book. In his book, he's decided to name a chapter Al-Ankabut, after the spider. So the spider must have secrets that we're not aware of. It must have greatness. It must have a rank. For a surah, for a chapter to be named after it, it must be special, of course. So he goes and he discovers, he finds out what is special about it. Now this is what we need to do with the Quran. We need to really immerse ourselves in understanding the Quran as much as we can, so that we can unlock these secrets. Because it's a book that is said that it's ajaib, its wonders will never cease. And it's a book that is always revealing new secrets, constantly revealing new secrets to us. As time passes, the Quran more and more of it opens up. This book that has the news of those who came before, but also an explanation for that which is here and that which will come as well. Okay, so the one who serves this book, the one who believes in this book will serve it. The one who believes in this message will serve it. Yeah, and he will expend energy, because this is the, I mean, gaining knowledge is not easy. It's very difficult. Yeah, it takes a lot of energy and striving. Because one of the things they say, if you want to gain knowledge, you need himmah, you need high energy and drive, aspiration to gain knowledge. Yeah, if you want to gain spiritual purity, you need to oppose your nafs. If you want to achieve success in da'wah, you need to have a concern. You need to be concerned about people. And this is what they say. But for knowledge, they say you have to have a deep drive, determination, desire, aspiration to learn, a himmah to really learn and rise up. This is what's required for the person who wants to gain knowledge. Yeah, so it's a great thing. It's a great thing. There's no higher knowledge than the Quran. The highest knowledge is knowledge of the Quran. Full stop. No one's gonna. That's not up for debate or discussion or dispute. Yeah, so we should inshallah try to engage ourselves within this. Okay. Then he continues on. So he says, "Haqa'iqu risala azima." The realities of this risala, of this message, of this Quran, and of this message of Islam are tremendous. They're magnificent and they're great. Yeah. And he says, "Haqa'iqu risala kabira." They are huge. Tunadikum is calling you. Yeah. Antum khuliqtum li muhimmatin kubra. Yeah. You were created for a great purpose. You were created for a great purpose. Yeah, the human being has tremendous potential. Yeah, he has tremendous potential, and it's upon us. Yeah, it's upon us to realize his potential. There's an amazing book. If people want to know about children, for example, raising children, probably the best book the faqirs come across in terms of child development and raising children is a book. It's called Evolution's End. Yeah, again, to be asked an admin person, inshallah. Evolution's End. Yeah. Reclaiming the Potential of our Intelligence, I believe it's called, by Joseph Chilton Pierce. And it's a book that talks about how amazing the human being is. That's really what he talks. He talks about the phenomenal potential of the human being, how incredible we are as human beings, and how our intelligence is unlimited. We have amazing abilities, tremendous abilities to do really profound things. The human being is, mashallah, yeah, it's something amazing. So it's, for us, it's about understanding that we have a great purpose in life. We can transform the world and then some around us. Yeah, we really can. I mean, look, subhanAllah, like they talk about, you want to see examples, even look at examples from non-Muslims. Look at the abolition of slavery. The abolition of slavery, which was a worldwide movement. Yeah, people were being, said they were being moved from continent to continent, and thousands, millions of people were being enslaved. Yeah, now that whole movement was removed by a handful of people. So change can take place. We should have that confidence that it can take place. Now, was that slavery replaced by other slavery? Yes. The struggle goes on. Of course it goes on. That's the nature of human existence. Yeah, like they call this idea of the mega machine. Yeah, that we are always fighting the pharaonic system. There's always a battle between good and evil. We are always going to be fighting pharaohs because it's the nature of the human nafs, the human ego. Within us, we have a pharaoh within us. That pharaoh within us is what leads to oppression in the house, what leads to things like domestic violence. All these problems that we're now seeing in our communities is because of the internal selfish ego. Yeah, marital breakdowns, like family problems, suicide rates. All of it actually comes down to that. Any type of oppression, bullying, all these types of issues that we see on any level of society is due to that. Yeah, so it's always going to exist. But the point is that we can't affect change. We have a tremendous purpose in life and we can't affect change. And sometimes we just need to see that. One of the beauties of seeing great ulama and awliya is that you start to see what even one man can do. Just one, sometimes a man, look at the Sunnah Habib Umar. I mean, he came back to his city, Tarim, in like 93, 94. Yeah, and then so that was like what, 27 years ago, 28 years ago. In that time, within 20 years, he'd established an institute, an educational institute. Really, within 10, 15 years, we could say, is recognized as one of the top five. Yeah, one of the top 5 universities on the planet, one of the top 5 Islamic universities. And he's done that himself. If you look at the others, you've got the Quranic that's been around 1,200 years. Al-Azhar has been around 1,000 years. The Quranic, these great institutes, they've been around for a long time, and they were developed over centuries. And how many people have come together? Here you have one man who's just established an institute by himself. He's moved to an area that was uninhabited, and people have just moved with him. Students have moved with him. Teachers have gone. He's raised these teachers himself. He's taught them, and then they've established this. One man has been able to establish an institute like that, and hundreds and hundreds of other Quran schools, a network all over the world. Yeah, one man, just as an example, and there's many like that, just individuals who can just come along and transform societies, communities, nations. So as a human being, we should have high aspirations. We can do great things. The only thing stopping us is our own laziness and our own nature. Really, it's just our own selves that are holding us the reins back. If we could let go of that, we would fly and we would increase in every possible department. Yeah. So to understand that the sacrifice needed to achieve great things, sometimes you just have to see it from others. Sometimes you just have to be in environments, great environments where you're seeing these types of sacrifices taking place and these types of changes. It becomes real. It's one thing to read about it, hear about it, but to actually experience it within your life, you're surrounded by this. This is one of the things about places that if you visit a place like Istanbul, just visiting the masajid there. Sheikh Abdul Hakim Muradi mentions that when you go to the mosques of Istanbul, you get a sense of like the ambition of these people, the Ottomans. They want to take over the world. Look at the size of their mosques. They're huge. They got 20, 30 domes, huge places of grandeur, of power, of might, of izzah. Yeah, it gives you that sense of what they thought the human potential was, what they thought they could achieve. Yeah, so we've been created for a great purpose. and it's upon us to try to fulfill this purpose. Yeah, you being called to a great purpose. For a great and tremendous purpose. Again, he's saying, you have been ennobled by the noble, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has we have ennobled, we have raised the human being. Yeah, he's above and beyond, and he has a sir, there's a secret within him. Yeah, that makes him unique and raises him above just the mere, outer stuff of this world. He's above and beyond that. Yeah. So إذا قبلتم هذه رسالة لكم في دار الخلد منازل الكرامة الكبرى من الرب. Yeah, you have in the next life a permanent abode of ennoblement. فما أعظم أهيتم له إذا قبلتم الكرامة قد رشحوك لأمر لو فطنت له فانبأ بنفسك أن ترعى مع الحمل. والله ما مهمتك في هذه الحياة إلا أن يزداد الإيمان في قلبك ويزداد اليقين بالله الذي خلقك فتصل وتذوق اللذات السعادة في دنياك وتتهيأ للانتقال للسعادة الكبرى بوفاتك على لا إله إلا الله. Yeah. So he says, how great is this this purpose that we have. And he says, there's no purpose in life except for a desire to increase in certainty and in belief in God. Yeah, this is where desire lies for us. We desire to increase in our belief in our certainty. Well, this is a foundation that we mentioned, and then he says this leads to you being successful and to you tasting the ladha of sa'ada, the ladhat of sa'ada. Yeah, that you experience sweetness and blessings in your life. Yeah, and this is this is what we need to do in this life. In this life, we can experience great joy. There's no greater joy. There's no greater joy than communion with Allah, than spiritual communion, than being able to speak and be intimate with Allah. There's no greater joy than being able to send blessings upon the Rasul with a state of consciousness, awareness, as if you see him, as if you're reveling and marveling in his beauty. There's no greater joy than seeking forgiveness in the depths of the night. Yeah, there's no greater joy than having like a Thursday evening and remembering the Prophet ﷺ within that context. Yeah, there's no greater joy than these pleasures. And we need to experience these tastes ourselves such that we can then go out and allow others to taste them as well. Because this is what they say, what's real da'wah? Real da'wah is when you can see haqa'iq, you see realities yourself, and then you just telling other people about what you see. You are telling other people about what you experience. That's where enthusiasm comes from. Because look at what a change this made in my life. This completely changed. I want other people to experience this. I want other people to be just as happy as I am. I want other people to be just as joyous, as optimistic, as ecstatic as I am. Yeah, and therefore this is what leads to that himma, that desire, that drive to call other people unto beauty and goodness. So he says that. Then he says, then prepare yourself for the movement to the greater happiness, which is the next life. Yeah, and this is why these elite people, subhanAllah, they actually desire death. Yeah, they desire to stay in this life so they can increase in goodness, but a part of them yearns for their Lord. They yearn to leave this realm because they recognize if they leave this world, they'll be closer to Allah. They'll be closer to the Prophet ﷺ. Like Imam al-Busayri, the writer of the Burdat al-Musharrafa, the great poem, Imam al-Busayri, he died out of a yearning to meet the Prophet ﷺ, of a yearning to be with the Prophet ﷺ. He literally killed him. So this is a desire. These type of people, they just desire much higher realities, much higher. Like they say, Ajsad Farishiyah, Arwah Arshiyah. Yeah, that their bodies are earthly, their bodies are in this world, but their souls are celestial. Their souls are the throne of God, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Their souls are elevated and beyond this world. So this is the essence of the human being, that he's in this world. Yeah, as the sunnah is to live in this world, to live with people in this world, and to engage with people, and to be with people, but for your heart, for your being to be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the purpose. Okay, Tomorrow we have no lesson. Saturday we are changing the times. Just to make this clear, Saturday we're going to fix the time for this class. We're going to fix it to 6:30 to 7 o'clock throughout for the next 6, 7, 8 months. Yeah, all the way throughout the summer. We're just going to fix it at 6:30 till 7, just to facilitate it for people. Yeah, so instead of changing the time, we'll fix it at 6:30 p.m. Sorry, 6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. till 7. Every day except for Friday, inshallah ta'ala. So if there's any questions, please do ask questions, inshallah ta'ala. You can ask orally, or you can put something in the chat, inshallah ta'ala, if anybody wants to ask anything. Okay, he finishes this section. I'll just finish the section with the dua. Allahumma ahyina alayha ya hayyun. Ya Allah, you know, give us life or living. Wa amitna alayha ya mumit, and allow us to die upon this, or the one who gives death. Wa ba'athna alayha ya ba'ith, and raise us upon this, or raiser. Ya arhamar rahimin, or merciful of the most merciful. So he's asking for us to be raised upon this desire to guide others, and upon this tremendous purpose that for which we were created, inshallah. Okay, barakallahu feekum. So we're resuming on a Saturday at the time of 6:30 a.m. to 7, and it's going to stay at that time, inshallah. We won't move the time. We just keep it fixed at that time. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala sayyidina wa habibina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.